Today, a judge heard arguments over whether the woman accused of pulling the trigger should remain behind bars and ultimately made a decision. Smith shares a child with Romeca Blackmon, the 31-year-old mother who was shot and killed, and with Quadajah Johnson, the woman now charged in Blackmon's death. Prosecutors say Johnson shot Blackmon during a confrontation in Chicago's South Loop on September 8th last year. Johnson, who was licensed to carry a firearm, has claimed that she feared for her life. In court today, Johnson's attorney argued for her release, but documents show that motion was denied. The defense outlined evidence they say contradicts the state's version of events, including 911 audio recordings and surveillance video. The defense also challenged the credibility of the state's key witness. We also heard again from Smith, who disputed claims made by prosecutors, including allegations that he fist bumped Johnson after the shooting and physically assaulted the victim seconds before she was killed.
I'm just tired of the lies and everything, what they said I did. I know for a fact it wasn't true. I didn't headlock her. I didn't beat her with the door. I only try to diffuse the situation. They keep deflecting away from that. And what I did what they saying I did made it sound harsh, and I didn't do that. So we need justice. We need justice to be served too, the truth. And they keep deflecting from it.
So I think in the midst of this story, as people fight back and forth about what they think is right, what they think they heard, what's fact, what's fiction, and all of that, they're losing sight of the children. And they really, really matter. They really matter. They're the biggest losers in all of this, are the children. Don't get me wrong. In the case of Romeca Blackmon, her mom has lost a daughter. That is definitely a hard loss. Understood. Her sisters, that is a hard loss. But for a child to not have a mom around to raise them ever again, you can't deny that. You cannot deny that. I don't care whose side you're on. I don't care if you're on Holly's side or not. You can't deny that that is a huge, enormous loss. I cannot imagine what it would be like to not have my mom raise me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to She's Alive. If you've been following the heartbreaking case of Romeca Meeks-Blackmon, the young mother who was shot and killed right after dropping her son off at school in Chicago's South Loop back in September 2025, then you need to hear what just happened in court this week. Because the woman charged with taking Romeca's life just got hit with 5 additional charges, and her defense team is painting a completely different picture of what went down that September morning. But here's the thing. The judge just denied her request to go home, and the questions surrounding this case are getting louder and more complicated by the day. Before we dive into these shocking new developments, I need you to do something for me right now. If you care about cases like this, if you want to see justice for victims whose stories deserve to be heard, hit that like button, subscribe to She's Alive, and turn on those notifications. Because every time you skip that step, cases like Romeca's fade into the background when they should be front and center. We're building a community here that refuses to let these stories disappear, so join us. Let's get into what just happened this week. So let's rewind quickly for anyone just joining us. On September 8th, 2025, 31-year-old Romeca Meeks-Blackmon dropped her 6-year-old son off at school near Cermak Road and State Street in Chicago's South Loop. It was supposed to be just another ordinary morning. She'd packed a handwritten note in his lunchbox like she always did, kissed him goodbye, and watched him head into school. But minutes later, Romeca was lying on the pavement, shot multiple times, dying in front of witnesses who said they saw something that still haunts this case. The 2 people involved in her death allegedly giving each other a fist bump while she bled out. The woman who pulled the trigger is Quadajah Johnson, also known as Holly Johnson, who's 31 years old and was living in Des Plaines, a suburb northwest of Chicago. Here's where it gets messy. Johnson and Romeca shared the same baby daddy, Carlos Smith. Romeca had a 6-year-old son with Carlos, and Johnson had a 6-month-old baby with him. Both women knew about each other, and according to everyone close to the situation, the tension had been building for months. Now, Johnson was arrested back in December 2025 and charged with first-degree murder. But this week, prosecutors filed 5 additional charges against her, bringing her total charges to 6. And let me tell you, this court hearing on Wednesday, January 8th, 2026, revealed some explosive details that have people on both sides of this case fired up. Johnson's defense team filed a motion asking the judge to release her on home confinement or electronic monitoring. They're basically saying, look, our client isn't a danger, She has no criminal history. She was pregnant at the time of the shooting, and oh, by the way, she was acting in self-defense. But the judge wasn't buying it and denied the request, meaning Johnson stays locked up in Cook County Jail while this case moves forward. Now let's talk about what the defense is claiming, because it's a completely different story from what prosecutors have been saying. According to Johnson's attorneys, Romeca was the aggressor that morning. They say Romeca had been making threats against Johnson for months through phone calls, text messages, and even through family members. The defense claims Romeca told Johnson's grandmother that she intended to kill her. Because of these alleged threats, Johnson had obtained an order of protection against Romeca before September 8th even happened. Here's the defense version of what went down that morning. They say Carlos Smith dropped Johnson off at her car near State Street and Cermak Road. Romeca allegedly showed up unexpectedly after dropping her son off at school, blocked Johnson's vehicle, and approached her while yelling something chilling. "I told y'all I was going to catch you." The defense argues that Johnson felt threatened. She had her 6-month-old baby with her, and under Illinois law, you're allowed to use force if you reasonably believe there's an imminent threat of harm. So Johnson, who had a valid concealed carry license and was legally armed, fired in what she claims was self-defense. But hold on, because the prosecution's version paints a wildly different picture. According to multiple eyewitnesses and prosecutors, Carlos Smith wasn't just dropping Johnson off. He actively participated in the confrontation. Witnesses say Carlos approached Romeca from behind, put her in a chokehold with his right arm while striking her with his left hand, and held her there while Johnson went to her car to get the gun. Prosecutors say Romeca was unarmed and desperately trying to break free when Johnson shot her multiple times in the face. And then came that disturbing detail that we can't ignore. Witnesses claim Carlos and Johnson fist-bumped while Romeca lay dying on the ground. So which version is true? That's what a jury is eventually going to have to decide, and it's not going to be easy. The defense is attacking the credibility of the witnesses, pointing out that there's no video evidence of the shooting itself, and even questioning one key witness who was apparently wearing noise-canceling headphones at the time. They're saying the witness statements conflict with each other, so how can we really know what happened? But here's what's driving Romeca's family absolutely crazy, and honestly, a lot of people following this case feel the same way. Carlos Smith, the man who witnesses say physically restrained Romeca while his girlfriend retrieved a gun, has not been charged with anything. Not a single charge. He was there at the scene. He brought Johnson to that location knowing tensions were high. Witnesses say he held Romeca in a chokehold. He allegedly told Romeca that Johnson had a gun. And yet, he's walking around free while Johnson sits in jail facing 6 charges. Carlos appeared in court this week and continues to deny the prosecution's version of events. He's sticking to his story that what the witnesses saw isn't what actually happened. But he's not giving any details about what he claims did happen. It's all very convenient, isn't it? He gets to say everyone else is wrong without actually putting his version on the record where it can be picked apart. Meanwhile, Romeca's mother, Tina McMiller, is raising Romeca's son and living with the weight of this tragedy every single day. She's been fighting for justice since September, and while she expressed relief when Johnson was arrested in December, you have to know she's wondering why Carlos isn't sitting in a cell too. That little boy lost his mother in the most traumatic way imaginable, right after she dropped him off at school, right after she told him to have a great day. And now he has to grow up knowing that the people responsible for taking his mom away from him might not all be held accountable. Johnson is scheduled to return to court, and we're waiting to see what happens next.
I do want to address the additional charges because I don't think I mentioned it, and I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, what were the additional charges? What were the additional charges? And I'm the type of person where when I report something, I like to give all the facts. So I think in haste, I negated to mention what the additional charges are. So I do have it pulled up on my computer, and I will tell you what these new charges are. So this is an indictment that came back. It was filed on December 30th. So last Tuesday, I believe that was last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, this was filed. So the initial charge that we knew of was murder with intent to kill, injure with firearm. So since this was filed, there are now 5 additional charges that are mentioned here. So murder, intent to kill, injure, discharge, firearm, murder, intent to kill, injure, discharge, firearm, approximately And then murder strong, probable, kill, injure, firearm. And that could also be probability, but I think that's probable, I believe. It's shortened as prob. So I don't want to be held to that because I didn't look any of these charges up. I just wanted to come back on here and update you. So again, it says murder strong, prob, kill, injure, firearm, murder strong, prob, kill, injure, discharge, firearm, and then the final charge being murder strong, prob, kill, injure, discharge, firearm, approximately. So let's go back through them just so you know. And I will check my email as well. I get so many emails. Don't think I'm being rude. Sometimes it's just overwhelming when you're one person trying to make sure you tell as many people's stories as possible. Okay, so again, the updated charges are as follows. We already knew about the murder intent to kill, injure with firearm. These are the additional charges that are now mentioned. Murder intent to kill, injure, discharge, firearm. Murder intent to kill, injure, discharge, firearm, approximately. Murder strong, prob, kill, injure, firearm. Murder strong, prob, kill, injure, discharge, firearm. Murder strong, prob, kill, injure, discharge, firearm, approximately. So those are the new charges. Let me look at one thing. Hold on. So I can be factual on this, and then I'm going to go. I just want to double check something. Trying to see how they classify these charges. And in the state of Illinois, by them being considered Class M, those charges appear to all be felonies. So just wanted to give that update because you guys were asking in my previous post. Some of the things that are said, I just glaze over because they're so ignorant. But that was a valid question because I did leave that on a cliffhanger. I only said that there were, let's see, what did I say? I think I said there were only, I just merely said there were 5 additional new charges, but I didn't go into what those charges were. So I just wanted you guys to know what they are. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I just wanted you guys to know what the charges, the new charges consisted of. So thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to give you an update because I thought that was a valid question. So thank you so much. Stay up, never down. Bye-bye.
Will Carlos ever face charges? Will Johnson's self-defense claim hold up when witnesses are saying she and Carlos celebrated after the shooting? And what exactly are those 5 new charges prosecutors just filed? Those details haven't been made public yet, but you can bet they're significant if they prompted this week's court hearing. This case is far from over, and we're going to be here covering every development until justice is served. So here's what I need you to do. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Do you believe Johnson's self-defense claim, or do the witness accounts of that fist bump tell you everything you need to know? And the bigger question, should Carlos Smith be arrested and charged for his alleged role in this? The conversation needs to keep going because Romeca's voice was silenced that September morning, but ours don't have to be. Share this video, keep talking about this case, and make sure you're subscribed to She's Alive because we're not letting this story fade away. Justice for Romeca means holding everyone accountable, and we're going to keep demanding it until it happens. I'll see you in the next one.